I love that she said that because there's a lot of friends. There's a lot of people that are friends together or boys. They're not really boys. Like, y'all know why y'all together. Like, y'all play football together. Y'all together. Y'all play basketball. Y'all do whatever it is that y'all want to do together, and y'all think y'all boys. But when stuff like really goes crazy, right? That's when you know if you guys are really boys. If there's something that you said that I was not comfortable with, and I can come to you as a man and sit down and be like, yo, hey, you said this and that, or you did that and that, bro. I ain't like that one bit.
Welcome to the Echo of Lab podcast, a few and a half deep conversation about life, God, relationship, tough topics, anything we come up with, but more than anything, having a real and honest conversation, dropping a few gems along the way. I'm here with one of my friends, one of my almost day one homies. Like, I'm telling you, this man is for real. Like, from the first time I met him, it was straight big brother energy for sure. But let me introduce you to my friend, my brother, Franddy Simplice. How are you, man?
What's up, bro?
How
you doing? All right. Yes, sir.
How's everything?
Everything is good. Everything is good. You know, it was kind of cold today. I'm not gonna lie though, I like the cold.
You like the cold?
What? Yes.
Why?
You know, I had this thing in my mind for a while. I wanted to live in New York. So I have family in New York.
Okay.
So when I was two, around 1 or 2, I actually did some pre-K in New York. But the reason why is because my mom came here to do some. She was pregnant and she was having trouble, not with my little brother, but with another younger whatever. But it never amounted to anything or whatever. So she had to do surgery for that. So she brought me up. So for the time that she was there, I was also up here, and ever since then I've been trying to get back to New York, but never got the opportunity to actually live there.
Oh my goodness. There's 2 places in the U.S. that keep stealing Floridians. It's Atlanta and New York.
I'm not gonna lie. My uncle lives in Atlanta now. I understand why.
Really?
I definitely understand why.
What?
This
is blasphemy.
It's black everywhere. Like, it's not like Miami where it's like, yeah, you may go to this hospital. Yeah, there may be black doctors or black dentists. But you gotta search for them in Miami. You're like, hey, search black optometrist or search black dentist.
Oh, okay.
Up there, like, they're almost everywhere. Like, everywhere, yeah.
So it's kind of the difference people say between HBCUs and PWIs.
Let's not bring the HBCUs.
I'm already starting off.
One of my biggest regrets is not going to Howard and choosing to go to FIU. Instead of going to either Howard or somewhere else.
Oh, man.
But yeah. Or even Oakwood, actually.
Yeah, actually.
I forgot about Oakwood, yeah.
Everybody
even Oakwood, yeah. Yeah,
no shade to Oakwood.
Yeah, no shade ladies and gentlemen, no shade to Oakwood. But, man, that's, I remember, because I was at Hebron at the time, before I got to Zion. A lot of our members, like, as soon as they would graduate, they would go to Oakwood. And it was this big thing, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go to Oakwood and see Junior and see etc. So yeah, I totally forgot about Oakwood. Oakwood is also another.
Yeah, I have a lot of my friends from, like, Union, from, like, really passing my days. Yeah. A lot of them went to Oakwood.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I know a lot of people that went to Oakwood.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, no matter where you go, you still kind of, like, you still come out with a college education. So
it's not about the college education. You know what I've learned?
What?
So in my time at FIU, I thought, you know what? If I go to university, I'll do this, X, Y, and Z. Everything will happen. I'll just have my degree and I'll be on the go. It's just, you could, at this point now, especially after 2020, you could get anything online now. You could get your degree online. So in that aspect, it's not really about the college degree. It's about the experience.
I feel you.
It's about the people that you meet and
that's true.
You know, the connects that you make.
I say exactly. I was about to say that. Like, the best thing about college, even more than academics, is network that you can build.
Yeah, most definitely.
The network that you could build anywhere. It's like, I have friends now that are like on the other side of the planet or other side of the U.S. I would never guess to have that. But since I'm in college, or since I like made kind of networking opportunities. Now I have that, which is kind of bizarre to me. I would never think about that past high school. So I see where you're going with it. I see.
Yeah, man.
But it's always interesting. It's always interesting. But you are somebody who's been in my corner for the last, I'd say about maybe 7 years straight.
Yo, you know, last time I was with the praise team, and we're thinking about like how long we've been singing together. Bro, it's been about 7-8 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, sheesh, I've been in Zion for 7-8 years. But I mean, I digress. But when we get to you, when I first met you, and you know, because at first I was with the praise team and everything else, I already knew Tabby.
Yeah.
I knew Tabby before Tabby knew Tabby.
That's so wild.
Especially in that spirit. I knew Tabby before Tabby even knew her.
You definitely met me before then.
Oh, really?
Because I was always with them. I was always with Tabby.
Really?
At our spirit, even
well, every time I'm there and seeing with me, Miss Jeannie, 30 cop, she know what that is. Tabby may know what that is too. But every time I meet up with her, or she like helps me out or whatever, it was always Tabby, and I don't think Vicky was there yet. That was in I want to say like 05.
05?
Yeah, 05, 06. I don't think Vicky was probably a toddler or something.
Yeah, she was definitely a toddler.
But Tabby used to always be there.
Yeah.
I never seen you.
Maybe
I did.
Probably.
Maybe I met you.
Probably around, but it's just not enough to like make the connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Most likely. It's weird because some people, like I went to Aspera in I think at 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But some people from there knew me before because I was always getting out.
True. I mean the professors, not the...
No, like the students a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't even remember, but yeah, but 7 years, bro.
Yeah, dude.
It's
been 7 years. God,
yeah, man.
It's flying.
Time flies when you're having fun. But this man has always been in my corner. I remember you like just gave me a weird sucker punch to the chest one time, and I was like, At that moment, I knew I was like, yeah, this guy would be my big brother or something like that. Like I always play with the idea, like people need, of course, father figures and mother figures in their life, but they also need sibling figures. Mm-hmm. And for sure, I've been blessed to have ton of sibling figures in my life, like cousins, brothers, like friends all around, but definitely you as well. Mm-hmm. That's something that's been beneficial in my life. Do you think so?
Oh, definitely. Growing up, I always wanted a big brother. Even though I was the big brother, I always wanted one. I think it's crucial to have your father in your life, definitely. Sure. But at the same time, as a man, wanting someone that's gonna tell you no, but or probably gonna tell you what you need to hear, but it comes in a little bit more, how can I say this? I don't want to say cultured, but that's the word that's coming out. It sounds a little bit more relatable.
Exactly.
Or whatever. So, unless, your dad is like, no this, no that, yes this, yes that. Mm-hmm. But then you hear somebody like, hey, I don't think this probably would be good for you because if you do this, 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 and that, this is what I used to do back in the days, and this didn't work. So, I think you should move this way, that way. So, it's definitely very crucial.
I think it comes down to, like, who you see yourself in. Like, of course you see yourself in, like, your dad. Like, as a man, you see yourself in your dad.
Yeah.
But you also need that kind of, like, I want to say middle piece, but think about it, we're community type people. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't just interact with your father. You interact with other people that are in between.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's more needed than we kind of realize. Like, we always kind of, like, pass here and there, but it's, like, something that's instructional to your kind of, like, to your development as a man, of course. Mm-hmm. And this series I'm doing is about manhood in general.
Oh, nice.
But that is like something that's very, like, even I think, like, looking at some dudes I know or some people I've seen, it's something that shapes you much more than you think.
Yeah.
Like the big bros, that's not always family, not always blood, but like those guys who are like big brother to you, those girls who are like big sister to you, those shape you more than you know.
Yeah, definitely. And as you saying that, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about my little brother. Mm-hmm. Growing up with him, I mean, we're always tight, but the tightness that I thought we had, I didn't really know we were not that tight until I met one of my great friends. Like, at this point, we might as well have a blood transfusion. Like, He's born October 3rd. I'm born October 28th.
Right.
And so we're kind of close that same year. But the way that he was raised and him and his brother, the way that they are, like, it got me thinking, I'm like, yo, I'm not as close to my brother as I think it is. So there are certain things that happen in life, and in between our lives that got us a little bit closer or whatever, to a point where, like, it's just like, yeah, that's my dog.
I'm curious though, because I always see it, in media and whatsoever. Do you think guys need conflict to bring them together? I know it's off script.
Ooh.
Do you think guys need conflict to bring them together?
You know how they say pressure build diamonds?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to a guy, not the only way, but the way that we see in the world, in order for you to be built, you need pressure. You need some form of certain things to bring you back to where you need to go. Sometimes you do know where you need to go.
Right.
You know exactly, nope, this is the way that I got to take.
Right.
But then by taking that other way, sometimes you need a slap from God, be like, hey, like, what's that thing on Instagram where they try to choose which one to go to and they go there and you hear a slap?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, sometimes you need that slap to, like, yeah, I need to find that way. But at the same time, having that brother helps a lot.
Yeah, because I reflect on, like, my friendship with some of my best friends. Like, we've had times where we've been at odds. Sometimes there's been conflict before, but looking back on it, I'm like, I'm tight with this person more than ever because kind of that time, that pressure in their life kind of built a diamond-like relationship to where I can come to this person about anything, almost anything.
Yeah.
And I'm not really afraid to let this person down or some type of conflict because of that builds them a bit.
I love that she said that, because there's a lot of friends. There's a lot of people that are friends together or boys. They're not really boys. Like, y'all know why y'all together. Like, y'all play football together. Y'all together. Y'all play basketball. Y'all do whatever it is that y'all want to do together, and y'all think y'all boys. But when stuff, like, really goes crazy, right? That's when you know if you guys are really boys. If there's something that you said that I was not comfortable with, and I can come to you as a man and sit down and be like, yo, hey, you said this and that, or you did that and that, bro. I ain't like that one bit.
Right.
Like, if the person, like, oh, word? Like, what didn't you like about it? So then we sit down and be like, bro, you did this and that. Damn, bro, I didn't see it that way. My bad. And then we could talk about it. That's different. But nowadays, and you see that a lot. And I think the reason why is because you have all these different things in media that, whether blue pill, red pill, energy, whatever it is that they got going on, where after watching these things for a while, you're sitting down and you're like, so who should I be? Should I be a guy who's like, forget the whole world and do this? Or should I be a guy that's really cool, chill, and just like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, cool, calm, and collected. And because of that, because you don't want to show off like your true self, you put this persona and then you never have real friends.
Right.
Because your friends think you this way, but then if they see another side of you, in your mind you're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Or sometimes, because you've been burned so much in life, it's like, what's the point of having a serious, like, friendship with? Like, there's some dudes, like, me and the friend that I'm talking about, or whatever, like, it'd be, like, weeks, months that we don't hit up each other.
Right.
And then he'll be down in Miami, be like, yo, I'm like, oh, say less. Whatever I'm doing, leave it, come to, like, and we just, like, vibe, chill. And it's not like we go places. We literally be in his room, just, like, either just talking, or sometimes we go to the shooting range together, or whatever, because he likes to shoot. So we'll go to the shooting range together, or sometimes we just play Call of Duty together, just like vibe. But sometimes in a guy's, and this is why I told y'all boys, like you, Tim, Kenny, and all them boys. That's why I love, like, sometimes I haven't watched any episode yet. Give me a break. All right. But I've watched some snippets. And it's just like, just to have dudes just sit down and have just a talk, like, that is huge. Yeah. That is really big. Real big.
Honestly, I think, first and foremost, shout out to the boys. Shout
out to y'all boys. Y'all boys are doing good.
But
love it.
I remember this time, right? Like, my cousin, he came down from Atlanta, right?
Okay.
And then my other cousin, he came down from, I think, North Carolina or something like that. And then it was just us three. we planned to hang out, right?
Yeah.
Me and my cousin from Atlanta, we drove up to him. He lives in Pompano, right? We drove up, and we just sitting there just watching a movie, just chilling, doing nothing. Like, I haven't seen this dude since in months, in almost years. And it's just like, all right, we should.
Sometimes nothing needs to be said.
And it's weird because it's kind of fulfilling.
Yes. It feels like home.
Yeah. And
feels like you chilling with yourself.
Exactly. And it's like, we can't explain it, but something about doing nothing together just like kind of brings you closer than doing something.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a conflict or whatsoever, like even with the boys, right? Like sometimes we've had times where we had to do nothing. We're bored out of our whole minds. And I could look back at those points in my life. I'm like, yo, that brings me closer to these people.
Mm-hmm.
They mean me like almost siblings, like with each other. Like with my cousins, with Tabi, there's times we've been bored in the house. Like, hey, you hungry? You hungry? Let's get something from the kitchen. We can't find anything, so we'll just starve.
DoorDash.
No, this back in the day.
Back in the day. Okay. Back in the day.
But it's something about being bored with people that brings you closer to them.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't know. It builds you up together.
Yeah. It does. It really does. I have actually a couple friends that sometimes we on the phone after we talk, like, hey, what's up? This and this. Yeah, what you doing right now? Where you at? Okay, cool. I'm driving from work. Oh, word? Okay, yeah, me too. I just got out of work too. Well, then, so you're driving home? How long is it going to take you? Maybe 20. How long is it going to take you? Bruh, I just left work, and this thing says an hour. It's like, dang. After that, dang, there's like 40 minutes. Nothing is said, and we're just driving. And it's just like, yo, I just got home. Oh, word? Hey, you're about to go to the gym? Yeah, what time you getting home? Well, I still got 20 minutes. Okay, well, I'm about to get ready. All right. And that height is not just like hang up.
Right.
Homie has his phone, taking a shower and all. I'm out here just like about to park. It was like, yo, you ready? I was like, yeah, give me 10 minutes. And then we're just like, he would pick me up and then we'd go to the gym or the whatever. Like things like that. It's just, but then, and you know what's crazy?
Right.
The thing is, you'll talk to a girl and you're like, yeah, hey love, how you doing? Yeah, everything's good. Okay, cool. All right. And then you'll say anything, and then she's talking. But then she's talking, you hear her out, but you're not really there.
Right.
And then she gets mad.
Weirdly enough, weirdly enough, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because it's like you there, but you're not really paying attention.
Exactly.
And then they hit you about something that you kind of like were supposed to pay attention to. I don't know. It's the weird dynamic that guys have with guys and girls. You don't have that. Like
ladies, I think ladies don't have that. And the thing, what I've realized as well, seeing a lot of like girl friendships, like some friendship do not seem authentic. Like, I mean, like it seems like, hey, I'm friends because this is where I'm at in life. This is where you at in life. All right, cool. And you know what's crazy? Like, and I've witnessed that in a couple friends that I know that are like girlfriends click together. If one of them move up, depending on the friendship, like if she move up, like let's say for example, all of them are, let's say all of them are at FIU because FIU is where I was. Right. So all of them are at FIU, they all graduate or they all studying something. One person get their master's or trying to go in the master's program. Oh, wow, congrats, queen, congrats. Yeah, you're saying congrats, but then now it's just like you starting to avoid that person because you feel like, damn, there's nothing that we need to talk about.
Right.
Unless it's about school. And it's just like, okay, well, I guess we're not friends.
Exactly.
But then with guys, it's a little bit different. I mean, I see that too with guys sometimes, but then with us, it's just like, yo, my boy about to be a doctor, bro. Like, damn. Like, I'm shouting out to everybody, like, yo, I got a psychologist in my clique. Like, it's just like.
Funny enough, I need a lawyer friend. I just need a lawyer friend.
I ain't gonna lie. I do definitely have one. Shout out to you, Joey. Shout out, Joey. Shout out, my boy.
But I talked to my friend Kyle about it. My cousin Kyle about it on the podcast, right? I said I have 3 types of friendship, or 3 tiers of friendship. Coworker, which is the lowest tier.
Yeah.
Cousin, and then sibling type friend. Coworker type friend is like somebody we're in the same place, we vibe together, we click together. But it's like I don't expect this to run deep and deep and deep.
Yeah.
Cousin friend is like we may have been sibling friends at one time, but life brings us different directions. We catch up every now and then, this, that, and the third. Sibling friends, like I could see you tomorrow, I could see you to next week, I could see you next year. And it'll feel just like the same. And no matter what level you are, I'm still hanging with you. And I think that's a little bit different when you kind of categorize your friendships. Like some of the friendships you have, it's like I have not talked to this dude since like freshman year of college, and it's not that I hold it against this person, but it's just like it happens whatsoever.
It was there when you were there,
right? And I don't think some people think about their friendships too deep. Like they may feel bad, like this person heading this way, but they weren't authentic with that person to where, okay, they're going so far I can't kind of reach out and grab them anymore. Do you think that's possible?
I think with that, it takes a lot of it. I don't want to make it sound deep, but it takes a lot of growing for if you have fallen out with a friendship with someone to bring that back in. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, that takes. Yo, people say like, yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. It's really not, especially if. Okay, so let's say on your example, you're a freshman, I'm a freshman, we vibing, we chill.
Right.
After a while, my classes and your classes are not together.
Right.
We're not roommates anymore, or etc. And we just fall out. And then a couple of times later, I see us like, yo, what's good? Hey, what's up, man? Hey, we need to link up. Guys say that all the time.
We say that all the time.
We never link up. But that's the way I'm saying, hey, I see you. Yeah, we need to talk, but it never really happens.
Right.
But that instant, it's easier for that to like, yo, if we meet again and we actually link up, it's like, bro, dang, yo, remember freshman, you remember this? And then finally like, hey, bro, I have this is that. Word? Hey, I'm into that too. No way, bro. Hey, we need to put this thing together, etc. Or if it is a business, or if it is something that y'all doing together, that's easier. But what I've realized is like when you are friends with someone and y'all fell out because of something else, like either y'all fall out because of a girl or y'all fall out because of a situation that happens,
right?
For you guys or for these two dudes to be back into that brohood, it takes a lot of, yo, my fault, it's on me, I should have never said this, or I should have never done this, or never da 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 da. And then the person also opens up and is like, yeah, bro, I did this, I did that. Like, it takes two dudes to sit down and really do that, but you don't really see that nowadays.
I think, you know the phrase, extend the olive branch?
Yeah.
I think part of that being authentic or part of willing to do that means being okay with this person not even taking it.
Oof, okay. All right.
Like part of that authenticity about friendships.
And here's the thing, that's the vulnerability that people don't want. Especially, I mean, and you know what's crazy?
What?
Dudes will do the craziest thing to get back with a girl. Never do that for their boys. Ever do that for their boys.
Look, I have a saying that I think you might find funny. We have all simped and fallen short of the calling of God. Hey, man.
Yo, that's a funny one. We have simped and fallen of glory. Yo, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that.
You gotta say that was good.
No, that was good. That was good, yo.
Oh, man.
That was a good one.
That's true.
That was a good one.
That's true.
No, I mean, you're right. Like, you haven't talked to an old girl for like a year, 2 years. You're already preparing, okay, I know she like this. She might change. What does she like? What do I need to do? Or this and that. But then if it's with your boy, it's never just like, yo, I know I did some messed up thing with my boy. Like, okay, how can we get back together? And the thing is, the problem is we don't want to seem vulnerable because in the community of men, it's not just like black men. It's everywhere. Like, that seems gay. That seems a bit like homo for you to be like, yo, what? Hey, I understand this. I had a friend of mine, or whatever. Dang. I'm about to put your story on blast.
Hey.
But I'm not going to say any names. I had a homeboy who was a friend with another homeboy. I'm gonna keep it at homeboy. So when they were friends, they were cool, vibing, chilling. But one of the other dudes were a little bit like, he was nonchalant, like very nonchalant, like he didn't care or whatever. If something happened, it happens. But other homie was really like invested in the friendship,
right,
or whatever. And he was the type of dude where he grew up in a family that has a lot of like siblings. He had a lot of siblings, but they were like way much older than him. I'm talking about like 10 years older than him. So there was no correlation there, but he always longed for that brotherhood or whatever. So homie came to the other homie and like, yo, like, I've been texting you, calling you, and here's the thing. Because then, if a dude, let me say the story at first. He was like, hey, bro, like, I text you this and that, and you take 3 days to text back, oh, you good? Is everything all right? He was like, nah, I'm just vibing. Or it was like, damn, like, yo, like, we friends, we boys, like, this and that, like, why are you being like this? Like, why are you being all pushed off, like, treating me like a dumb?
Right.
Well, he didn't say dumb, but you can put whatever. Or whatever. And then homie just came out and like, yo, cool off. It's not that serious.
Right.
Or whatever. But for him it was. So then when I finally met him or whatever, and we like cooling together and everything else, and then he's telling me the story, I was laughing at the story with him because he's laughing or whatever. But then I know that kind of like he felt kind of hurt through that because he's been looking for like a brotherhood where it's just like, not just a brother, just a brother, man. Like somebody around his age that he could just vibe. I'm not talking about like somebody 12, 15. I'm talking about like mid-20s dudes.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, and the thing is because the way that he brought himself and be so vulnerable and open, other dudes gonna look at that and be like, hey, that's that don't look too good.
I don't think it's of that route. I think generally we have a sense of fear about being vulnerable.
True.
Because
yeah,
again,
you're right.
That authenticity,
you're definitely right.
You have to be brave enough to not just extend the olive branch, but be completely okay with that other person not taking it.
You are definitely right.
So sometimes that vulnerability makes us shy away from it.
You're right.
Like I might be brave enough to like extend this towards you, like come at you like, hey, I want to extend this friendship towards you. I want to rekindle this thing kind of thing because I value this. I value you. But that fear of this person not taking it at all, like if people like it almost like it's almost like seeing an earthquake or seeing like a tidal wave come at them. It's like they shiver in fear to where like, yo, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
To the point where they're reacting. It's like you corner a tiger. Now they're fighting back. Now they're doing, their fight or their flight reaction, which people most likely fight. But, yo, I like where this conversation is going. I really do.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to go that way.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
But
But first, let's go to commercial real quick because we got some more stuff we got to talk about. But let's go to commercial real quick.
I know you have a girlfriend, but I just wanted to let you know that I have a crush on him.
Big Q dog. Big boy.
Hey, you know, me and my wife, I'm like, oh!
And then 2 weeks later, she started posting ultrasound pictures. So we're back. So yeah, we talked about it, like sometimes that courage that you need to extend that olive branch to tell this person that, yo, I not only, I don't think we ended off on a good foot. I want to rekindle that, especially with the brother, somebody that we value. We're not just afraid of looking weak for ourselves, but to that other person. Even if it's not even a conflict kind of thing, like you're my enemy, I don't want to look bad about my enemy. But it's just like looking weak around other people. You're afraid to them see your vulnerability, to which people fight or flight, they cower at. And some of that authenticity needs that bravery, that courage to not extend this and not even wish for it back in return. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. Every point that you hit, it brings me back to a story with someone or a story that I know of a couple friends and this and that. But definitely, like, it's easier, it's going to sound weird, but actually it's not really weird. It's easier to open up to a dam because like, hey, if, let's say, for example, if this is your girl, and you know that she's a ride or die, she's going to die with that feeling or whatever it is that you're vulnerable with her with.
Right.
But with a homie, especially if you're in a group, if you guys don't have that connection, it just feels like, yo, I need to have this persona of swole dude, cool, calm, collected all the time, instead of like, yo, I'm struggling with this, bro. Like, yo, I need real this and that. And sometimes it's you don't find a lot of men that are acceptable enough to have that. And yo, this is going somewhere, but I know a lot of people have been talking about Andrew Tate. Right?
The boys call me the top V, which is funny, which is extremely hilarious. I'm gonna let it continue, but they do be calling me the top V.
And let me tell you something that I love about them both, like Andrew and Tristan, like together, like
I know exactly
their authenticity and their connection together, bro. This is. I mean, guys are not going to say this, but I've said this to my group of friends all the time, and I think I share it with my brother too. I'm like my goal, and it's not with just everyone. Like I know I'm like that with one of my great friends or whatever, but I always wanted to be like that with my brother. Now our relationship is getting closer, but yo, to a point where them boys is just like, they know each other so much, it's like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna do this, yeah, this is gonna happen. Bro, why are you doing that? Like, why this and that? Like, to be that authentic, every guy dreams of that. Like, I understand. Every guy, like, yo, I want the bad honey, I need the bread, I need this, I need all of that.
Right.
If you had a boy that holds you accountable, yo, after God, it's gonna sound real crazy, but a mother and a boy, ooh, they're probably like in that same category. Like, might even expand the mother son relationship.
It's much needed, because I look back on my friendships, and that's the goal with everything.
Yeah. Like
having a friendship, like a real brotherhood, because technically there's no such thing as friendship. It's just brothers, sister kind of thing. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. To have that like true brotherhood that people look up to, you can't take away from even Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. Yeah, most You can't take away from other people. You can't at all. You need it. Yeah. And it's like, not just for your growth, people have it whether they know it, but it's having it with the right person. That's the key thing. Who's deaf? Because I know, like, I have some friends, like, yeah, I was cool with them before, but now, like, one of my friend Nigel, my friend Darbus, my friend, like, all the boys, shout out to the boys again, because it's like, that's much needed. Like, for boys, like, we need to grow up with other dudes who are doing life with each other. Like, I could always relate back to this person. This person holds me accountable. We might fight here and there. We might throw hands here and there, but it's more like, yo, we both care about each other, and it's an authentic, like, I see myself in you, you see yourself in me. It's back to that relatable part. It's much needed. I don't think people are as careful with it because they're influenced. Like, this person who's, like, I have influence on my friend Nige. I have influence on all the boys. They have influence on me. Being careful about the influences you have on each other, it makes a real difference in who you become. Yeah. And even to touch on what you said about the girl part, because I see it a lot too. Like, guys, we're kind of more comfortable opening up to a girl than to our boys. And you ask, why is that? I think it's kind of like, it's like when you're with the, you know how they say you're the sum of the 5 people closest to you? Like, whoever they are, they bring something out of you, or they input something in you. Like, they bring stuff out of you. I think because, at least, let's just talk as guys. Women are more emotionally inclined. We'll say that. We'll say that. We'll say that.
No, definitely.
No. And it's not even a roast. It's like,
that's who they are.
Right. And we love it. But
that's how they were created.
Right.
Definitely.
And because they're more inclined that way, they bring that out of us more naturally than we even expect. Yeah. Like, sometimes you'll be talking to somebody, you don't expect it to, like, the emotion to come out or just to get that deep with the person, but it just happens. And because with other guys, we kind of have to force it a bit because we're not as emotionally inclined. We kind of have to force it out of it, or we got to be in a situation that makes us have to. But even then, we have to turn on a switch. And we kind of overlook that part to the point where some guys, their girls become their emotional punching bag. Their emotionally sparring bag, where they, like, throw their emotions out and it all comes out, which is wrong, and it could do much more damage. But because we're not because we don't challenge each other that way, it's like they don't have that challenge until they get to the girl, which is a big problem. Because if you never get used to challenging your emotions, to understand your emotions, until you get to that girl, guess what's gonna happen? She's gonna get hurt.
Damn. Okay. Dr. Vlad. Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. Man. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't say anything there. That was it right there. It's. I mean, that is all included where we're not open with each other as much as we should be, and then because we're not, we feel like we have to be homies, just homies, and not really brothers. Like, it got to a point. Like, I remember, and the only thing is I could talk from history. I remember there was this dude. That was back when I was in Hebron, and it was me and my brother. And at the time, me and my brother were not like. Let me not dumb this down. We're close, but when I say we're not close, it's not the close that I wanted. Like, I wanted where we like. I'm an extrovert. Like, I'm a social butterfly.
Right.
Homie is more like a moth. Like, he only comes out when he needs to.
Right.
If he wants to come out,
right.
And he's just chilling. And because of that, instead of playing brotherhood, yeah, the thing is, and you know what's crazy? It got me realize this. I forgot this. When my mother had cancer, that's when I realized this. Like, I was looking for a brother my age instead of really accepting the big brother that I am. Like, I wanted a boy, like a homie, like my boy, my homie,
right.
Instead of really like, yo, this is my little brother, I gotta take care of. Until things started flaring. I remember, and it's always about a girl. There was this girl.
Can't live without him.
Bruh, there was this girl that was dating this guy. But apparently, I don't know, whatever, for some reason they were going through whatever it is that they were going through. So, I heard, and this was not my brother that told me this or something else, I heard homie felt some type of way about her so-and-so liking my brother. But there was nothing done. It was just like, hey, what's up? There's none of that. She just like, oh, he's a cute guy. And homie felt some type of way. So it was on a Saturday morning. And they were at the church. That was before. I mean, listen, I've been a 7-day Adventist all my life, but I didn't really take it serious until maybe like 2020, 2019.
Right.
But anyway, so, and then finally, and I heard from so-and-so like, yo, I heard so-and-so is at the church now and trying to thump your brother. And I was like, on Sabbath? I was like, oh, you got me messed up. I was like, hey. So I had one of my boys, because at the time I didn't drive. One of my boys had a car, and I was like, yo, we got to go to so-and-so church right now. And he was like, what happened? I was like, let's just ride. He was like, all right, let's go. So then here I am now. My brother didn't know I was coming. But I guess someone that knows him saw Buddy and how he was looking at him. Like, yo, Buddy looked like he was heated about to do something.
Right.
So I was like, the day of the Lord. At the time, I was like, you're about to be blessed in the day of the Lord anyway. So as soon as church was done and church was coming out, I was standing right there, right by the door. I'm like, all right, where Buddy at? I saw Buddy. Buddy saw me or whatever. And I saw my brother. I was like, yo, what's up? He was like, when did you get here? I was like, yeah, bro, I just got here real quick. You good? He was like, yeah, why you ask? I was like, oh, nothing. And Buddy saw me, and that, I guess that's why he kind of cooled off. And at the time, I was a hothead. I was really a hothead. Now, it wasn't the type of hothead where I'm doing like crazy stuff, but, and you know what's crazy? If somebody were to come and slap me or punch me, I'm going to sit down with you and be like, bro, what did I do to you? What's going on? But if you blow, you know the Len Stevenson when he blow on the brother?
Yes.
If you do that, any type of blow on my brother, whoa, I'm enraged. I'm ready. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh yeah, we do have a connection. It's not the connection that I thought we have, but it is the connection that's needed. Even though I didn't really go through that connection as deep, and there are certain things that we fell on that if I was an older brother, probably would have stopped. But because I let it nonchalant and because I was looking for this homie instead of being the older brother.
Right.
And that's when I realized, like, bro. And then, you know, from that on, for people that knows, I mean, we've been through some crazy stuff back in the days.
Every brother has their stories.
But man, it was at that moment I realized, and as I'm getting older, I was like, yo, there are a couple brothers at the church that looks like me, probably got a little bit of my mannerism, that probably is either like a single child or maybe don't have that brotherhood really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to be Captain Save a Brother.
I have never heard that. He coined that phrase right now.
Yeah, Captain Save a Brother. Maybe I should do a shirt. Like, Captain Save a Brother.
I like it.
But yeah, so, and at that point, that's when I was like, oh, yeah, I know kid. I know the family of the kid, mother and father, great people, great dudes. Like, yeah, I'm taking that dude under my wing. And so then I came to Zion.
And
Coming
that's
around.
exactly. I like it. I like it. I like it.
And then I came to Zion, and then I got cool with Rich or whatever, and Rich was always like a older brother to me as well, or whatever. And some stuff that we talked through. There's a couple steps that I took in life. Like, he has a big thing in that for me too. Every time I say that, he's like, "Bro, stop, man. No, it's not, man. You already know that you were gonna do that anyway." I'm like, "Bro, Rich, like, just take it."
Yeah.
But yeah, so as soon as I came in and then I saw you, and I'm like, yeah, you remind me of '05 me. Like, I came, at the time I came in America or in the US, and I was not really like you gotta, like, mind you, like, maybe people don't see it that way, but I'm not gonna say I was the popular kid in Haiti, but where we were, like, it's based on status. Like, my parents were not rich. We were okay. We were well off.
Right.
But it was where in the school, like, me and the richest kid there, we were great friends. We were cool. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the thing is, the better you are in soccer, the more and more
Popular.
Dams love you
sure.
in school.
Yeah,
so we were like the great kids in school or whatever. So you came from being the popular kid to now being an aspiro, where people are looking at you like, yo, why does he stand like that? Why is his accent like that? Like, yo, this cat is funny.
Yeah.
Man, he does voodoo. And that's around the time where they thought every Haitian did voodoo and they live in rural places and not really this and that. So I'm not saying that you were that kid, but I saw where it's just like you were at a point where you're in the transition of from going to a young boy to a young man. And I'm just like, yo, I was like, that kid he could be a little bit swoller. Like, the way that he stands, it's like, you could tell it's just like he's in a shell. Like, he needs to stand out a little bit. Like, he need to work out. Like, be a little bit swoller like that. I'm like, yo, hey, put some suit on this kid. He's gonna look wait. And that's at the time. And you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Last week.
Yeah.
For not last week, yesterday. Yesterday, it was cold.
Right.
So I'm like, perfect. I'm wearing my suit to church.
Right.
I was looking for bow ties. I'm like, yo, I want to wear a bow tie tomorrow. And then I thought about it, I'm like, where are my bow ties? Or whatever. And I was like, oh snap. I give all my bow ties to Vlad. And that's when I was like, yeah. And you know, I didn't say like, oh man, I give all my bow ties to Vlad. What in the world? Like I said, I was like, oh snap. Like, I give all my bow ties to Vlad.
Oh man.
I was like, oh Vlad. And then you know what came to mind? I was like, yo, I did promise Vlad a suit. I haven't given him that suit yet. I gotta get onto that.
Thank you for reminding me.
I gotta get onto that.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You said a lot, but the I don't know why, but all throughout my life, I've been surrounded by dudes, by older men in my life that like taking me under their wing without me even asking. Like,
yeah.
Like for real, like I could cite every single man in my life, like have taken me under their wing, like seen the potential in me, and like nah, you coming this way. Nah, you know better. Let's go over here and do this. And it's just seeing that and respecting that led me to like saying, okay, let's go. I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to like take you, because sometimes it's like what we said, seeing yourself in the other person.
Yeah.
Like whether I knew it or not, I saw myself in you. I saw an older version of myself in you, and you see that in other people. And something about like that kind of instant big brother sibling type of relationship like guys have with each other, it makes them much better. Like you don't know how much this person impacted you, but you see the light in this person.
Yeah.
You see the potential.
Yeah.
And seeing exactly where you're coming from, I could definitely relate to it a lot. But even so much I can learn from it.
Yeah.
It's the possibilities are almost endless. It's very interesting, like how guys go throughout their friendships throughout life.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because you don't even expect it out of the place. Like you probably randomly came to Zion, you didn't even know it, and we definitely got to think.
Man, this is all God for real,
for sure.
Because at the time, Hebron was going through a change where I don't know if you remember this, Hebron, but some of the boys at Zion could remember this, like Ashley, Toast could remember this vividly, like where Hebron for a period of time was, I want to say, like the Mecca of youth. Like we had, Hebron,
I remember
Hebron
now.
French SDA had their own government things. We had our own pastor, even though I mean they didn't pay homie right, but we had our own pastor. We had our own youth board, our own little mini eldership. Like we were 200 members deep for youth only. Yes. I remember we went to what's that thing that they used to call Periality? Remember Periality?
You guys went?
Oh hell yeah, that was it.
I never kind of went.
When did we go to Periality? I was still in high school. I want to say 08 or 09, around that time. And there was one time we went to Periality, and we just like made the worship so fun. We were not part of worship, but just being the backgrounds in worship. I kid you not. Periality ended that week. The next week, the church was packed. Like it got to a point where all the men had to stand up for visitors to sit in.
Yo.
Seriously, and people are like, yo, I need to come to that church. And what's crazy is, like, when we were in Periality at Camp Kalakwa, after it was all done and everything else, that worship night, I believe that worship night was it had to be a Friday night.
Most likely.
After the Friday night that it was done, or whatever, we're going back to our camps. And then we're sitting down. And I never thought about this, but then one of the leaders was like, yo, y'all didn't realize what y'all just did. And I was like, I mean, it was funny, it was cool, we just having fun with it.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, next week, church is about to be packed with a lot of people wondering how these kids so fire about Jesus.
Interesting.
And I was just like, nah. I was like, people live so far, bro. We've had people who were from churches, and at the time, now looking back, from here to Pompano is not really, it's a drive.
Right.
But then at the time we're thinking like, I'm not gonna go to church in Pompano. Bro, we had people from Pompano, we had people from Florida City that came up or came down to come to Hebron SDA French. And that's when we realized, yo, this was crazy. Like, crazy. But then after a while it got to a point where stuff went back down or whatever, and there were couple other
it's always something, but I like what you said about that story because I relate to it a little bit more than I'd expect to. Like going to Union and then being in Pathfinder, it's like you see a lot of people from Hebron. It's like another place I'm going to. Hebron, Horeb, whatsoever. Like the big churches, it's like with a lot of every guy's from either Zion, Hebron, Horeb, Jerusalem, or this kind of thing. It's like it's weird because that community of guys like you see every now and then. Of course, like you said some names like, oh yeah, I knew that guy. Oh, I knew that guy for sure. But more than anything, you talked about like a community of dudes.
Yeah. And
like you said, the guy said, you guys don't know what you guys just did. Because a community of dudes who are angled in this direction, how far can they go?
Powerful.
It's like that quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go farther, go together. And I think that's something that you just kind of spoke to without even knowing.
Nah, definitely.
It's interesting because these guys' friendship, like these guys, like circles and communities and stuff like that, it has more of an impact than we ever know. I have a quote that says, your maturity will have the quote says, your maturity will have more of an impact than you'll ever know.
True.
And that's true for our story together. Yeah. The stories that you relate back to and stuff like that, it always accumulates into something different when you look back on it. Like you just said, you look back on these stories and you don't even know what you just did in the moment. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then having strong dude I'm not talking about like strong physically, but strong mentally and spiritually. Having strong dudes in your circle is very, very crucial. Very, very crucial. Not only for your life, but then for what is to come. Because sometimes you need somebody to check you real quick. And having, friends here and there, they're just going to be there for you. Be like, oh, yeah, you good, man, you good. But for somebody to sit down and be like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Like, why you text that? Or why did you post that? Or why did you comment on that? Oh, bro, like, what you doing? Like, why are you going to that party? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, it's very crucial to have stuff like that. And sometimes it feels like, I just want to do my thing. But then sometimes doing your own thing, like you said, you can be by yourself and do whatever you want. But then in order for you to be better, you need somebody to hold you accountable. You need that brotherhood.
Yeah, like in one of the episodes of the Boys podcast, session 4, we talked about cheating, right?
Yeah,
you gotta see that one. That one we had a little bit of fun.
I probably gotta watch that.
You gotta watch that one, man. We talked a lot about that one, but one thing we kind of addressed, of course, is like how we hold each other accountable. Like the big thing about that series is accountability. Yeah. Like if somebody's doing something, just like, yo, get in text, like, yo, what you doing? Why you with so and so? Like, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Like, I'm the type of like, yo, I will hit this boy up until he like answers the phone or whatsoever. And that's that thing about guys. We need to challenge each other. Yeah, definitely. Because even if some guys, if you like, you can notice they don't have anybody challenging themselves. And then once they get a girl, guess what happens? She becomes that punching bag for them. Yeah. It sucks because I hear a lot of girls talking about stories and stuff like that, and I can see through it like, yeah, that dude, we guys could see it from a mile away. That dude was like, he had no challengers around him. Yeah. He had nobody like he goes back and forth with, but then he gets this girl who gets him to this emotional state whatsoever. Then the worst happens.
Damn, wow, Vlad.
It turns into... And
definitely. Wow.
Our friends, our brotherhood, our friendships and everything, it goes into it more. Like, we probably have more of an impact on our friends' relationship whatsoever. It sucks, but we kind of have to address it. It's like almost taking responsibility, or like our favorite Bible kind of like things about, are you your brother's keeper? That's a big thing. That's a big thing about like friendships and brotherhood. You are your brother's keeper. Whatever they do, it reflects back on you or how you've operated with them. I'd hate for one of my friends, one of my boys, to go through this with this girl, and I'm like, yo, you couldn't come to me about these things. You couldn't, like, before it escalated to that point. You're like, you couldn't. I'll check myself. I'm like, yo, was I a good friend? Was I my brother's keeper in that moment?
That takes that right there is a friendship that you want to keep. Like, if you're fighting for that friendship, that's a friendship that you want to keep. If both people are fighting, and with the same point that you said, like, you know, stretching out the olive branch and knowing that it's probably not coming back is the reason why a lot of dudes don't do that. Because dudes trying to be like, and you know what's crazy? If you're in the story in the Bible with David and Jonathan, and that story is a story that always, at first, like when I was first studying the word, right? I used to think, I'm like, what type of sissy stuff they got going on?
It was suspect at first.
It was very sus. Very, very sus. But then after you sit down and really see it, I'm just like, bro, homie had dimes on top of dimes. He went and killed Goliath. Yes, he had the faith and he had God and this and that. But then there was one dude, and you know what story that is very big? The story where it says, I don't know if it is I forgot where in Kings, or maybe in Chronicles, one of them, or whatever. And it says that finally when they met and they hugged and kissed. So a lot of people take that and be like, they did the mouth-to-mouth, tongue-to-tongue? That's crazy.
They've never been around Italians.
Right, exactly. Right. Exactly. And it was when, like, a lot of people know this, and some of my friends also know this. Like, in my family, we don't shake hands with my dad. Like, let's say for example, I'm home chilling, watching TV, or I'm in my room, and my father comes in or whatever, and we're just like saying hi to each other. It's just like, oh, papi, como es? Like, we don't do that. Like, we come here, we kiss each other. Right. Like, we kiss each other on the cheeks, like, hey, how are you? Or whatever. And sometimes, yeah, it's not like lip to cheek. It's more like cheek to cheek.
Yeah.
The only time it's probably lip to cheek is like graduation. I remember we did that in graduation. I hugged and I kind of like teared a little bit. Like, yo, we made it. Or whatever. He got a tear too. Or whatever. He kissed me on the cheek. Or whatever. Like lip to cheek. Or whatever. Or like something big. Or something like real big. Like, yo, you just got a promotion out of the job. Like, yo, we're ecstatic. So then I went back to the story of David and Jonathan. I'm like, wait a minute. So if Jonathan and David kissed, and then we go into the Gospels, and it also says that Judah kissed Jesus for the men to know who it is for them to catch.
Right.
So then I'm like, so it's not a problem to really kiss like that. And then you watch soccer. Like, I don't know if you a lot now that the World Cup, a lot of people want World Cups. Like, if you see like most of the people, before it used to be like French, Italians, like would do this the most, But nowadays, dude, like almost every European country has that, or whatever. And it wasn't until, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's just like the way that they do it in person or whatever. It was until I went for a family reunion in 2018. And my uncle, who's the youngest of my mom's side, after he graduated high school or whatever in Haiti, he's spent his whole life in France, like marry a French woman, have French kids or whatever. It wasn't until like French Haitian kids. So it wasn't until after, like during that reunion, we haven't seen each other for so long. I'm just like, oh, tonton, how you doing? And then we're like hugging, and then he kissed me. That didn't feel weird when he kissed me, because I do that with my dad a lot. But in my mind, I thought, oh, it's only father and son. It's not nephew and uncle. And then I saw a video of my two young cousins. Like one of them, he plays soccer here in Colorado, and then his younger brother lives in France. So, and I'm telling you, when I saw that video, I was like, bro, here in America, we take stuff to be so sus. But if we're open and vulnerable, you'll just see it's normal. Like, in that video, every time I saw that video, first time I saw that video, I kind of got teary a little bit. I'm like, yo. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that is so awesome. Homie did not tell his younger brother that he's coming back from school in the U.S. to come to France.
I think I've seen that. I've seen that video.
He surprised them.
Yes.
You seen that video?
I seen where he jumped into him and then they both fell.
Did they fail?
I think so.
No. Well, there's probably a video like that, but I'm talking about like my actual cousins, or whatever. So, homie like surprised them or whatever, and my aunt was filming the whole thing. So then, he's like, he just woke up because of the time difference, and he thought he was just like going to the kitchen to wash dishes because his mother called him down to come wash dishes. So then he's out here like, doing his thing and coming in. And then as soon as he saw his brother, like, it's just like his body like untensed. And then they got to each other and they started just like, like the older brother started kissing his head, his hair, his cheek, his neck. And I'm just like, but then we do it over here. It's just like, hey, what these sus dudes got going on? Or whatever. And you see that all the time. And it's just like, man, why can't... And then now it got me thinking of that David and Jonathan story, where it got to the point where even Jonathan did not want to eat with his dad because his dad had problems with David. And I'm just like, cuz, you didn't eat for 3 days because your dad got problem with your boy? That's not even your blood? Crazy, bro.
That's what we spoke to before, like that real brotherhood with each other.
Exactly.
Like we said with Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, like that real bond with each other, like your brother, like the person that had problems with your brother. Your brother didn't even know about the problems, but as soon as you heard about it, it became your problem.
It became my problem.
Right. And like we look up to those type of friendships where it's like, yo, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't function well if this person that you're so close to, your brother, your probably like mirror image, is going through something like that. Like, I look up to the friendships, or like I look forward to friendships where it's like, my friend got a problem, I don't care if he's like Pompano, I don't care if he's like Orlando or Jacksonville, it's a drive. It's whatever.
That's a 5-minute drive, it don't matter.
Right. And it's so interesting that we we need that, and you can see who doesn't have that.
There's a message on this, by the way.
You can see who doesn't have that. But let's go to commercial quick one more time. Let's go to commercial real quick one more time before we get to this last point. But stay tuned for that one.
She's not from Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Where was she from?
I'm not gonna say that, you know what I'm saying, but
She's American.
the same that, you know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
I promise you. Let me rephrase. Let me re-say that whole thing. I ain't even peep. Man, I'm so sorry, man. Yo, I'm so sorry. Let me re-say it.
You don't gotta say it. I gotta edit it out.
No, let me just re-say it. So
It's too late. It's too late.
Damn.
This is gonna be the last episode of the podcast.
Hey, thank you for watching the Echo Drive podcast.
Yo.
Alright,
Fred, dog.
dang. Oh, my bad.
Can't
Okay.
tell this man nothing. Can't run a bank with them. Nothing, dog. We are back, and we talked about it. That closeness that you need in brotherhood, that feeling of like, okay, I'm not good if you're not good. Like, that can't happen. Like, if this person has a problem, I have a problem now. And I've learned that closeness, at least with my friend Nigel, of course, because we've had not a situation, but we had a couple years that we were like almost inseparable. Like, people used to call us twins, like our inner circle, and they used to call us twins because we were always by each other, stuff like that. But I look back about it, like, if this person was struggling with the class, I was struggling with the class. If this person was having problems with this person, I had problems with this person all of a sudden. I remember, like, there was this one situation where I'm not going to name any names whatsoever, but a dude had a...
You know who you are.
A dude had a problem with me. And me and Nigel, we had that dynamic before where it's like, if you had a problem, I would say the worst possible solution to that problem. Mm-hmm. So the person doesn't go there. So like, all right, no, we just sneak them. That's it. And it's not doing it to get like an actual response, like
right.
for you to actually do it. But it's not like, all right, we could laugh about this.
Yeah, it's an LOL moment.
You're right. We can like, okay, this is overboard. We're not going to go there. That's the line that we're not going to cross.
Yeah.
But that's like exactly what was happening. Like, I was having problems with the dude. I didn't know how to solve it at the moment. He was like, yeah, let's go over there, like, wait till he's in the parking lot, just... And that was the dynamic.
What?
We used to do that. I don't know if we really called it or anything, but it was like we used to do that with each other. We both know what it was. But it's always that dynamic of, like, if you have a problem, I'm your brother. I'm your sibling. I'm here for you. I'm looking out for the best for you. You can't solve this or not. You can't solve this. You can't go on a path of destruction without me knowing or me trying to solve it or me trying to avoid that path with you. Mm. Or even like Jonathan, perfect distinction. Jonathan and David versus Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
That distinction, you can see some people are like that. Like, they're good until they're not good. And then one is easily going to turn on the other. Mm-hmm. But Jonathan's father was, like, legit trying to kill David.
Yeah.
Like, most people's relationship is like, okay, if your boy and if your friend and your father are against each other, you're obviously going to take your father's side.
Yeah.
But Jonathan and David's friendship went so deep, he turned on his father. Mm-hmm. Which is wild.
Very wild, bro. That's what I was saying. Like, to spend that many days. I mean, you know, I did a fasting for 3 days. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe for a certain situation, I would probably do it again. Maybe want to try fast for 7 days. Because I feel like fasting is great for like, just to have that communication with God where your mind and your energy. When I mean energy, I'm not talking about this BS people are talking about. I'm talking about the ATPs in your body.
Right.
Are not being used for anything food related. Right. But everything is being used for that concentration with you and God. So if you're studying His Word, if you're like, okay, I'm going to pray, I'm going to study His Word the whole day, but then I'm going to take a stop every 3 hours or every 6 hours or every 4 hours and do like like 3 psalms or whatever, and then a prayer. Like my mother used to always do that. So I have this little sketch in my mind on how it goes. Right. So I've done the 3 days before, but to do it not for like a fasting thing, but to do it because your boy has a problem, and your boy is not eating because he hasn't been at the palace, so he ain't eating either. And then for you guys to meet and for you to not sit down with your dad and your dad like, yo, you're not gonna eat? Like, why you got problems with David? I don't understand it. And then for you to storm off and leave the dinner table, at that time, that was mad disrespect. If you're standing up over the king and bouncing, that's mad disrespect. And you doing it, yes, he's your father, but he could easily be like, oh, so you disrespecting my kingdom like this, huh?
You could be put to death.
To the dungeon.
Exactly.
Like, they could easily do anything.
Not to cut you off, but you said fasting for 3 days. He did it for 3 days. He didn't plan to do it for 3 days.
No, he didn't.
He didn't even, like, it could have gone a longer.
Exactly. It could have gone for longer.
Right. And that dedication to your
It might have gone for longer. I need to go back and reread this. It might have gone for longer than 3, or maybe it has been shorter than 3. One of them. But I know he didn't eat for a good minute. As long as David was not there, he was not eating. And this is why I'm always like thinking, I'm like, God is just. And God knows exactly why he's doing this and etc. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, in my humanly mind, I always think, I'm like, man, like Jonathan could have been saved. Like Jonathan didn't have to die in battle. But it had to happen because if there's a curse, the curse is throughout that whole generation. Yeah, and you know what's crazy? And people don't go within that. You know how strong David's bond with Jonathan was? When David became king and Jonathan had a son who was basically, what was he? I think he was quadriplegic. Homie couldn't move at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was quad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He was quadriplegic. So, homie didn't move at all. And David, literally, as soon as he became king, I was like, hey, I know at the time I was here, Jonathan had a son. Where is his son? So he was like, oh, his son is this and that and that. Every single night, homie took Jonathan's son and sat on his right hand at the dinner table, at the king's table, every single night. Wow. And it's just like, look how strong that bond is. So then that man that can't eat, that can't do anything, always have to have somebody for him. Now he's practically one of the prince in the palace just because of that bond.
I always heard the stories of dudes, like, when their friend passes, they
always take care of. Yeah.
And those inspire me a whole lot because seeing that's exactly that bond you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, I have this bond with you that's thicker than blood. And I can't let anybody who you're attached to, like, be not okay. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, I think between guys, of course, it's something that's almost God sent in a sense. Mm-hmm. Or it's almost like something that you need, like God put it for you. Because it's like our friendship, it may go deep, but going deep as in like our generations tied to each other. We don't even got to be blood, but uncles, aunts, whatsoever. Like your sister is my sister is your sister. This kind of thing. It goes so deep, and I think it's almost bad that a man doesn't have that. Mm-hmm. It's almost worse if a dude doesn't have that. And I don't even know how to describe how intentional it needs to be. Because dudes, they have it with each other, but they're not intentional about who is there. Mm. It could be like that dude from across the street. You may grew up with that person. You don't really have a really real reason for that person to be in your life. But then you just want somebody, you just want a homie that's around that be a bad influence whatsoever. And not just on you, but whoever's around you, your next generation. Yeah. It's something that's man. Guys have to challenge each other on that part. Because I never want to have a dude that's just there just to be there.
Yeah, we got to be accountable. We got to hold each other accountable, but we got to be able to be open with each other. Mm-hmm. Like, cool, we play basketball together at this time, or we play football here. Yeah, we may trash each other on group chats or whatever, or may send memes to each other. Cool, that's awesome and connected. But, hey, you're a man of God. Your homie a man of God. You know your homie is dealing with masturbation. Why you haven't had a talk yet? Why I don't have a form of, accountability? It's like, bro, I know around 9 o'clock is when you go to IG. Maybe you need to probably check IG at 4 instead of that, because anything, you don't know what triggers the person.
Right.
Oh, you may see I know around this time, that's when Friday nights or Saturday nights or whatever, you want to do this. Fam, like, we're Bible keeping people. Like, hey, you can't be doing these things. Hey, homie, I know you says that, after a couple months now, you're thinking about, marrying your dam. Texting homegirl over there,
bro,
is not it. And the thing is, and I'm talking about this is because now I have it in my friend group. I never had that. Where if something happened, it's like, damn, yeah, my boy, yeah, you the man. But I have friends now. I mean, we were there, but we were never that mature. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of tough for guys as well because I don't want to say that guys mature later in life, but I feel like there's certain things that we could have learned earlier if we're a bit more open and vulnerable. Mm-hmm. But because we're not, we're learning it when we're finally getting in our, late 20s or mid 20s or so, if we're open with each other. So there's certain things that happens now. It's just like, yo, hey, my man, you've been talking about, doing that gym. When are you gonna take time to do that? Fam, like, yeah, I understand you eat a little bit better now, but you getting slow. We played last game, bro. You can't even last 5 games or whatever. And we're not saying it in a LOL moment. It's just like, bro, this is your health that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I'm like, hey, I remember you said last Bible study that, one thing that you want to do for this year is masturbation and keeping it low. Like, what's happening with that? Like, what are your triggers?
Right.
Like, what trigger you to do that? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so I'll be your accountability partner, no problem.
Right.
And if you feel some type of way, do this, do that, or call me. Or whatever. And then I'll check in, or we'll check in with each other. And dudes need that.
I think, but we said it before, to have that, I got to be willing to to hold out this olive branch and be willing for you not to even take it. Like, sometimes with friendships, like, you got to be willing to tell this person something they never want to hear in their life.
Yeah.
But then they could full on will be mad at you for weeks and weeks on weeks.
Yeah.
Or they may never talk to you again. Mm-hmm. But you got to tell them that truth that, yo, you got to challenge them in a way that they can't operate the same way anymore. Mm-hmm. They can't go back to the old habits anymore.
Yeah.
And that's to challenge each other on that level. It takes like real, not just vulnerability, but courage on each other.
Yeah, definitely.
I gotta tell you something that might rock your whole world. You might be pissed at me. Mm-hmm. You may want to fight after me after saying this kind of stuff. But it's almost like we need that challenge. And you say that people always say that guys mature later in life or slower than girls, which I don't kind of believe too much.
I don't. And this is why I just said that.
Right, but we grow from conflict. Mm-hmm. We grow from challenges. Mm-hmm. If there's no real challenge, like day-to-day challenges with each other, we're going to be like stagnant. There's a whole bunch of dudes who like late 20s, 30s, or even 40s that haven't really been challenged, but say the challenge happened late teens, early 20s, guess what they would have been? Like, it's a weird experience I had. Like, I was working at the gym and just going about like college and stuff like that and just chatting with people. I had like, for like months on end, I had dudes, like just conversations I'm having with different dudes. A lot of them like on different spots, like having baby mamas or whatsoever in life, and they say, hey, I wish I never did that kind of stuff. And I'm tracing back this time, like they have this stuff that happened in their late 20s or mid 20s or early 30s. The time that they're talking about is like right here in my life.
Yeah.
Like 18 to 22, 18 to 25. Like people always say, like, yeah, have fun, do what you want to do during that type of life, do it that time in your life.
Yeah, not that YOLO life. No, sir.
And here's the problem. Most of the mistakes that they have to recover from happen within these times. Mm-hmm. Within like my age right now, this is like almost crucial. You could either benefit from it or have to recover from it. Mm-hmm. And that's the weird part about it that we don't really talk about as guys. Like not having that challenges during this part of your life is extremely almost detrimental. Mm-hmm. It's almost dangerous. Mm-hmm. It's like you're leaving him out to dry and he might have to recover from something.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, we take a while to learn that. And I think the reason why is because, one, around that age range between 18 to 25, like, your testosterone level is high.
Not just high, it just kicked in.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's very high at that point. So, and also, your metabolism is really fast around that age range, and you're not really elastic, but you're durable, like very durable. So some people that take advantage of that time, they get to reap the benefits later on. Right. But then others that don't, then you are recuperating because of mistakes that you've made. And had you had a brotherhood or even a mentor or someone that already went through all these messes and actually coming in like, yo, don't do this, don't do that, and don't this, don't that, don't that. Like, and I could speak about this. Like, there was a point of my life when I was like really young or whatever, and at the time, like, the scamming game was like just new or whatever, and I went in without really knowing what I got into until, you know, things hit the fan, almost went to jail and all. Right. And it's around that time, and I was like, bro, and that's when that's another trigger where I was like, Captain, save a little brother, because it's just like, this has been in our community for so much, and it has killed a lot of brothers, and especially in the faith, where it's just like, yeah, we know of God, but then we're not really the way that our parents are with God right now. And it doesn't seem fun. It seems like you always feel like you're praying, like, and it's always like, oh, the outside life sounds very nice, like doing all these things. And I mean, and being a straight man, seeing these dames out here, you know, make you wanna do some crazy things. Yeah, man. Or whatever. So then when it's finally happening, it's just like, yo, yeah. And when you finally hit the fan and you're like, yeah, I can't let whatever my life has been through, I can let somebody else go through that. So it's just like, okay, for me it's because I didn't have enough money to buy a car, nor have a phone. I wanted to have a phone and pay my own phone and have a car. So it's just like, okay, right now I don't have money to buy a car for someone, but I could pay somebody's phone. I'm like, yo, I know you have a phone. I know your parents are paying for your phone or whatever, but what phone do you like? And it's just like, and I remember this vividly with one of the brothers at Hebron. And he was like, yeah, I like this and that. I was like, go get it. I was like, huh? I was like, I know you've been saving for it. Go get it. It was like, bro, who's gonna, like, I'm not gonna put that pressure on my parents to pay for this. I was like, nah, I got it. Right. Or whatever. And it's just like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, bro, I got it. I'll pay your phone bill. No problem. And I had one of my boys or whatever, same age as me, was like, bro, why are you doing this for Buddy and this and that? And he could never understand why. Until I told him or whatever, because he knew about our story and stuff. And I told him, I was like, bro, like, I don't want him to end up the same way we did or whatever and stuff. He was like, oh. Okay, I mean, I guess if you want to waste your money, that's you.
Yeah. And
but I was like, but that's what it takes. If we have that brotherhood and if we have that openness with each other, there are certain mistakes we won't do if we hear somebody out in their own different perspective.
Man.
100%.
That is true. That is very true. And one thing I like, my mission for the podcast is kind of showing, is to show like humbleness of character, but also striving for greatness. Because some people think that's totally different. Like, especially sometimes as Christians, like coming off as like mediocre versus being modest. Like, you try to aim for modesty, but some people settle for mediocrity. Like the Christian life, of course, is like you don't feel like, okay, you're being close to God, but you're not really being fun. Is it really authentic? And it's like trying to show that you're trying to be a good character man, but not trying to be like this over, I don't want to curse, but, you know, being of that F-word kind of lifestyle. Because it always seems so great. It always seems so flavorful. Like, you may know it's wrong, but it's something like, yo, they having fun over there. If it's fun, why is it so wrong? But it's like trying to show that strive for greatness, strive for an authenticity in your life, but also being humble enough, but also being accountable and stuff like that. It helps us more than anything. And it helps you kind of raise the other side with you. It's much needed, especially in your life, going on to me. Other people poured into you, me pouring into other people. It's like, it's that brotherhood that's really needed, for sure. It's something that my aim with the podcast.
And you know what's crazy too with what you're saying about this is all needed. I remember I was talking to one of my boys at the time. He's a little bit much older than me, or whatever. And at the time we were talking about like dams. Like, I'm sorry, I was out there. I was nuts. Let's just stay there or whatever. But like he was talking, he was like, bro, like, why are you putting your energy in doing this? Yeah, cool. You doing that, you doing this. Yeah, it's nice, it's awesome, it's whatever. It looks like you're that guy or whatever, going to parties and almost every girl at the party knows you. Yeah, that's cool and all. But they would have known you anyways if you had focused on your money and your body. And I was just like, huh? It was like, bro, if you literally just, you in school. Mm-hmm. And he was much older thing. And we used to work out together because I wanted to be fit like him. Yo, buddy was swole. Like, I'm talking about, like, natural swole. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. Like, an ox stroll. And I wanted to be like that. Or whatever. So we started working. I was like, bro, you should focus on that. And I remember he was talking about his wife and then his kids. Like, wonderful, beautiful family, bro. So then he was like, bro, if you focus on just, like, working out, focus on your body, focus on working out, focus on your school, get your stuff ready, your perfume's gonna smell. They're gonna come. And I'm just like, huh. Mm-hmm. I was like, sir. I was like, nah, ain't no way. So then I did a little experiment. I didn't do it for too long because I was crazy. So I did a little experiment. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna focus on any of that. I'm just gonna focus on this or whatever, get my stuff or whatever. And then I remember I graduated. That was before FIU. So I graduated and did my opticianry or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I posted that or whatever. And it's just like, congrats, okay, awesome. So then we went out. It's just like, oh. And then it was somebody I never, like, we known each other from mutual friends or whatever, but didn't really know like that. And then we went to a party. It was like, oh, I saw you posted your little this and that. I was like, little. I was like, I like that. I was like, that's funny. It was like, I mean, congrats or whatever. I was like, cool. He was like, yeah, we should hang out sometime. And I was like, yeah, maybe or whatever. I didn't call him because I didn't want him to have that satisfaction. But I went back. So a party was done, and then we're going back home or whatever. And I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, so we should hang out sometime just because I got my opticianry thing? Or maybe, here's the thing. At the time, like I was mad young. We were like 21 or whatever. I didn't know, and I didn't know how much optician made at the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't make money unless you have your own business. But I didn't know how much money they made at the time. Mm-hmm. But 21-year-old, the last job you had was a cashier from an optician. Right. That's a nice little jump or whatever. So maybe she Googled or did something or whatever. Maybe when she saw the ABO certification, she probably like, ABO certification? That looks very prestigious. Right. What is that? Maybe she did that or maybe she didn't. Or whatever. But when I went back inside and then we were like driving home, I thought about it. I'm just like, bro, so you mean to tell me all that time I spent with the bread, taking this out, buying drinks, doing all of that, I could have out here been saving my money and there would have came nonetheless? I was like, bro, I wasted so much money, bro.
Hey, I said it before. We have all sipped and fallen short. Hey, yo.
Yeah, we have fallen short.
Look.
But now it takes me learning from that and just like going to another brother. I'm like, bro, like, don't worry about all that. Like, focus on you. Go to the gym. Like, get your body right. Not for dumps. Get your body right for your health or whatever. Like, eat right. Make sure whatever it is that's going to bring you that income, make sure you do it and do it well. And whoever God has for you, that will come. Now, at the same time as well, if you want to live that, that F-boy life, there will come as well. It all depends on what you want to live. But obviously, if we're in a group together, we want to live, as men of God as we can. Or whatever, or thrive to be, because we're never going to be that perfect, but thrive to be. But so, yeah, the woman that God has for you will come. Just relax.
Man, as you kind of said before, it wouldn't have happened if your boy doesn't come to you and say that.
100% not.
It wouldn't.
I would have lost so much more money.
Right. And like the potential, you don't even know. Like your maturity, that guy's maturity in that moment probably left an impact on you. He wouldn't even know.
Nah.
But being
to this day, he still don't know.
He gonna know now. But that maturity in that level, that maturity at that moment, kind of pushed you to the point.
Mm-hmm.
And then him having that brotherhood mentality, that brotherhood with you,
Mm-hmm.
you having that with other people, like literally, what kind of wonders can we do in each other's lives by simply being brothers with each other, simply willing to challenge each other in that moment. And that's honestly
unstoppable, bro.
Man, and it's one of my strides with not just with the podcast with the boys and everything, but just through life.
Mm-hmm.
Like your impact can have such an impact on other people. But honestly, you have an impact on my life, like great impact on my life, and I really thank you for that. But for sure, I thank you for coming out to the podcast. It's
Definitely.
This was a good discussion.
Yes, it was.
We haven't talked like this in a minute.
We haven't talked in a minute.
Honestly, man.
Oh, hey, for the people. So, this story, just before we finish, this story here, or whatever, I remember as soon as I got closer to Vlad, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the little brother. And sometime, like, it might sound weird, but sometimes there's some people that you see, you have to just take them in without them knowing they've been taken in. Like, or whatever. And I remember we went to First Watch, or whatever, and we ate, and we just started talking just about life.
Right.
Nothing really. And when after I did that, I was like, oh snap. And you may not know this, but for me, that was a bit of like, here's a little branch. Here's me just opening up, being a guy, and sitting down on a breakfast place with just a guy. And mind you, that was like probably the first time I've done that to a guy. Like I've done that to my like little sisters or whatever. I'm like, hey, let's go to brunch, let's do this. But like just me and a guy sitting down when we're talking about things and this and that, it was just like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And then after I did that, I was like, oh snap, like, it's not that sus after all.
Hey yo, man. This I love this dude, man. I love this dude, man. This is one of my day ones, my definite big brothers in life, man. One of many, but sure as heck, one of the greats, bro. Thank you for coming out to this podcast,
yes,
man.
Sir.
For sure. But thank you guys for watching this podcast. Thank you for listening to the discussion. I know you guys have tons of comments, tons of jokes that you want to say. I know he roasted me a little bit, for sure. I didn't forget that. But definitely tell me what you think about everything we talked about down in the comments. If there's anything you felt that was too spicy or whatsoever, leave it down in the comments. Text me on Instagram, whatsoever. Tell them where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Godspeed305 on IG. Also, the business here that I have, Simple Vision, is a mobile optical.
Yes, sir.
So if you want glasses or contacts or even a prescription, hit us up. Simple Vision MIA.
Everything will be down in the description. Y'all can click on it whatsoever. But yo, I really thank you for coming on this podcast.
What's that, brother?
And everything, as I always say, I wish you all the best. And with the rest, God bless.